All right. Here's how I lost $573 today day trading the S&P 500 futures. So let's get right into this. So here's the trade I took on ES at 9:45 a.m. It was a short position to target London low. My overall bias did end up playing out to London low, but unfortunately, after my entry, we got one more manipulation higher here before sending price lower, another retracement back up, and then ultimately fulfilling my bias down to London low over here around 10:20 a.m. So here's why I took this trade. So let me just back this up right now and go through this. I'll just go into replay and back price up here. All right. So market opened right here. Market opened right here. And my overall daily bias today was bullish, but we had clean draws to the downside. And once market opened and we swept buy side, external buy side liquidity on the lower time frame here, I had a bearish bias to target London low and possibly lower, but London low was my main price target because my overall daily bias was bullish off of London low or Asia low if we ended up trading all the way down there. So I was expecting a lower time frame retrace off market open down to London low to then ultimately have a bullish day back to the upside. So here's why I took this trade. So looking at ES here, we came up after market open and swept external buy side liquidity here at 9:37 a.m. and followed that with a strong displacement move to the downside, getting a change in the state right there and inversing this bullish fair value gap on the 1 minute time frame. So this is telling me, all right, price is clearly going to want to go lower before ultimately going higher today. So that confirmed my bearish bias, and I could have taken my entry down here. This was the first provided entry, but my stop would have had to been way up here, and that's obviously not a good risk reward there. So on this displacement move to the downside, after we got the change in the state there, we put in this huge 1 minute bearish for value gap here that I was looking for a retest for a better risk reward short entry to then target London low. So from here, I scaled into the 15-second time frame looking for that retrace. So as we move price forward, we push up into the 1 minute bearish for value gap, but I'm looking for 15-second displacement lower to confirm that we want to hold this fair value gap. So as we move price lower forward, we accumulate around a bit. We end up taking and manipulating this 15-second high right there. And now this is looking real nice for me for if we get that displacement move lower through for this 15-second change. This is looking real nice for a clean short entry to target London low for me. And as we can see, as we move price forward, we end up getting that displacement lower right there. Now, once we closed below here, I entered my position. I went short right here. My entry was at 503. So that was where my entry was. I placed my stop above this 15-second high because I'd expect this to hold if we're going to respect this 1 minute bearish for value gap. I'd expect this 15-second high to hold. And that's the 15-second protected high for this entry. So I was comfortable putting my stop there, and I put my only and full take profit down here at London low for a 1.56R trade. And as we move price forward, we got a nice, here, I'll scale back out to the 1 minute time frame because that's what I was watching. We got that nice displacement move lower. And down here, we ended up making equal lows with this 1 minute. We ended up making equal lows with this 1 minute external low, which I was considering moving my stop to break even if we took out this low. I wasn't fully sure if I wanted to do that, but since we made equal lows, that just gave me more conviction in us wanting to move lower. So I was fine leaving my stop up here at this point. So as we move this forward, we got another retrace back to the upside. Let me just get rid of this 1 minute bearish for value gap. Back inside that 1 minute bearish for value gap. Retesting it. We got a displacement move right back up into the range, but we were holding 1 minute bearish structure still. So I was still comfortable being in this trade. And then we got that one, after that leg up, we got that 1 minute inverse for value gap of this bullish for value gap we created right here. So this, I was very comfortable. I was honestly expecting this to just continue lower. Once we inversed this for value gap, I was expecting, all right, this is a winning trade. Once we inversed this for value gap, I moved my stop down to just above this high because I wouldn't expect us to want to move higher. And I was comfortable moving my stop there because that's where the trade was invalidated now. So after I moved my stop down and we inversed this 1 minute bullish for value gap, as I moved price forward, we ended up coming back up, kind of chopping around between small profit and small drawdown, kind of playing around here to then stop me out right there at 954 for a losing trade, unfortunately. And we ended up also going back higher as well to stop out my original stop. So it was a good decision to move my stop because either way, even if I hadn't, I would have still been stopped out on this trade. Very unfortunate loss. We just kind of got choppy price action, which can be expected today because today was a no news Monday, which often brings choppy price action. My bias ended up playing out. Let me move this forward. We ended up manipulating my stop and then getting that displacement move lower. I considered re-entering here once we inverse this bullish for value gap, but I don't really like re-entering right away after taking a losing trade because I find in my statistics that often that second re-entry ends up being a losing trade for me as well, and I didn't want to force another losing trade on a no news Monday where I don't want to be very aggressive anyways. So I sat this one out, and after some time, we got another retracement back up, protected that high though, which is where that my stop would have been there, and sold off through London low here. So very unfortunate. My overall bias did play out because this was the 1 minute manipulation followed by the displacement. So this was the protected high. I'm fine with having my stop down here because if I had it up there, it would have only been a 1-to-1 R trade. And I was taking it based off the expectation we'd hold this 1 minute bearish for value gap. So my personal setup was invalid at this point once we pushed above these highs. Very unfortunate that we ended up manipulating my stop and then moving lower into my take profit. But it's good to see my bias was on point. Just choppier price action can be expected for a no news Monday. but not really much I'd want to change on this trade. I'm fine. I'm honestly fine with this trade. It's a good losing trade. I like my entry. I had solid reason to enter when I did. I like where I placed my stop. I like how I managed the position. I like my take profit. Just one of those trades where you took a solid trade and based off probability with trading, it ended up being a losing trade. Which can be expected for a no news Monday. You can expect some of this chop, which is why I only risked 800 on this trade for my original stop, and then once I moved it down, I only lost 573 on this trade. So a de-risked trade due to it being a no news Monday. So I'm fine with this loss. Small loss to start the week. My bias was on point, just the execution ended up being a little earlier than when price wanted to eventually fulfill my bias, but I'm fine with it. My entry, I'm fine with this loss. I'm happy with it. I like the way I executed. Not really much I'd want to change here. Just the way it goes sometimes trading in the markets, especially on a no news Monday. So down 573 on the day, and it's a Monday, so down 573 on the week. Hopefully we can start getting some cleaner price action as the week goes on. This was a no news Monday, which often brings chop, like I said, so can be expected. Hopefully we get some cleaner price action moving forward, and I'll see you guys in any more trade recaps later this week.